What is up, YouTube? We are back in Sunbreak, and we have yet another hammer build. Now, I'm gonna call this hammer build the blood sucking hammer build. And at the beginning of the video, there should be some clips rolling that pretty much showcase what I'm talking about. So, this hammer build is not hammer specific, so you can use any hammer as long as it has two slot Rampage Jewel. Now, Rampage Jewels are new, and essentially we're going to be using Chameleos' soul to get health, stamina, attack, or defense. Now, this triggers on hit, so the more times you're hitting, the more times this will trigger, and it triggers more easily after each hit. So when you pair this with what I'm about to show y'all, we can pretty much stay in the fight indefinitely. So let's look at what we're rocking. Now, I have two versions of this build that utilize two different hammers. So we have the Sunbreak hammer and we have the Chameleos hammer. The Chameleos hammer has a little sliver of purple sharpness, which will help you break parts easier because sharpness increases your damage. But I like the Sunbreak hammer because it has that extra affinity. So you just choose whichever hammer you want, and let's jump into the skills. Now, the hammers are identical in terms of Deco Slots, so don't worry about that if you're going to use either of those two hammers. So let's look at our equipment. So this set is a mix set, and it consists of Agenath helm, Malzeno's mail, Agenath man braces, Malzeno's coil, Ingot greaves, and we are using a Thunderous talisman with Stamina Thief 1 and Weakness Exploit 2. So let's go over our skills, and we'll go over the skill that pretty much makes this build what it is. So first, the skill that makes this build what it is the Blood Rite. Blood Rite is a new skill derived from Malzeno. If you played through, you'll know that Malzeno has these blood parasites that suck the life force out of its prey and gives it to Malzeno. We pretty much have that, but this only triggers on broken parts. So that's why I say you will need to have a high damage hammer so you can break those parts easier. Now, once you have multiple parts broken and you pretty much have that Chameleos' soul proccing pretty much every hit, you're pretty much healing constantly. Now, I said indefinitely, but if you get hit hard, I would not suggest trying to go in, especially if you're like below 50% health, and trying to get your health back. But if you're getting like chip damage or you take a little hit, you can pretty much get your health back to full. So Blood Rite is pretty much what gives us the ability to have that blood sucking ability. Now, this build needs damage, so we can break those parts as soon as possible. So we're going to attack boost, weakness exploit, and part breaker. We also have a little bit of crit eye, which gives us our extra bit of affinity on top of if you're using the Sunbreak hammer. As far as our pretty much technical skills, we have Slugger, recovery speed, because if you get hit, it'll quadruple our healing and our red portion. So essentially we're getting healed from that, we're getting healed from Chameleos' soul, and we're getting healed from Blood Rite if we have some parts broken. We also have speed sharpening, because the purple sharpness on the Chameleos' hammer is really small, and if you can sharpen. Also, the white sharpness on both of the Chameleos and the Sunbreak hammers are not that big, so we kind of want to keep those sharpened throughout the fight so we can get as much damage as possible. Stamina Thief 2, just so when a monster is exhausted, that's just free hits. So it came with our talisman, so I just slotted an extra drain jewel just to get that 30% exhaust power. Agitator is just from one of the armor pieces. We don't really need agitator, but it comes in handy. It gives us a little bit of extra attack and affinity. And then we have focus, which lets us charge our charge attacks. So let's go over to our deco slots to see what you need to pretty much fill this out. You don't need much. So we have in the hammer, which both hammers have one slot jewel and a Rampage 2 slot. So we have in the hammer a grinder jewel and Chameleos' soul Rampage jewel. In Agenatha's helm we have an attack jewel. In Malzeno's mail we have a destroyer, which is part breaker, and a grinder jewel, which is speed sharpening. In Agenatha's ram braces we have a recovery jewel. In Malzeno's coil we have 2 recovery jewels, and in the Ingot Greaves we have a grinder jewel and a drain jewel. Our talisman has no slots, so that's what we're working with. So that is all I have for you guys. If you want a different build other than this one, I do have a parahammer build up on my channel. That build is mainly for keeping the monster down as much as possible. It has stamina thief, slugger, paralyzing attack. So essentially we can keep the monster, you know, pretty much tame a good portion of the fight. So if you want that build, I'll have that link in the description. And that is all I have for you guys today. Peace out.